guys, welcome to Radiant Thoughts. It's your girl Tori J.
It's your boy KP in the building.
And today we want to talk about the uncertainty of life in your 20s.
Facts. It's very uncertain.
Yeah.
Things do not go as planned.
No, things never go as planned. And we just want to bring light to that and help you guys try to figure out how to navigate it as we're trying to figure it out ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
But just want to talk about first. I know a couple years ago we did a 5-year plan. And I know it's very common for people, to make little plans and goals for themselves. I know a common one is having kids and being married by a certain age,
buying a house and all that stuff. We 1 year away from reaching the 5-year
when we did it
plan. Well, 2 years.
Are we?
I think so.
When did we make that?
Because I remember 2025 being on there.
Yeah, because we made it in 2020.
Yeah. We 1 year away from it. So
yeah, I feel when I was younger, I always was I want to be married and have kids by 28. The way life is going right now,
I want to be a young daddy.
Well, that's a whole nother conversation. But you make little, plans and stuff. I thought I was going to be out of college with a job, working on getting a house at this point. I don't know. But, things happen and life happens and you just don't know what to do, when you kind of get knocked off your square.
Right. Yeah, just thinking back to when we made those goals and stuff, we really plotted out everything and we expected it to go
based on what we were in life at that moment. And then a year later, half of
the stuff was just, all right, throw it away.
And we never made another one.
Yeah, we said we would, and we never made another one. So when y'all making these lists, just understand that things might get knocked around, it might get changed, and you got to know how to adjust when it does. But I know one of the things that I had on the list was, because I was still in school, and so one of the things that I had on the list was that I would be finding a place to get my master's degree and graduating college and stuff. Y'all, I ain't even make it that far.
You were close.
I was close.
You had a year left. I
had 2. I was going to be a super senior.
Well, I'm a super senior, so.
It is what it is. But yeah, I ain't even make it that far, so. So
do you want to share your personal experience with your take on things being?
Yeah, so with that in particular, I went to school. I went to Oakland University for pre-PT, pre-physical therapy, and didn't have a real good reason as to why I was going for pre-PT, but I was third year, I was junior year, about to go to senior year. Had some classes that I still had to take and stuff, but it was just kind of, I was just getting by, floating by for the most part. And when I realized that that wasn't the route for me anymore, and I always thought that school was always something that I knew I'm going to go to college and get a degree. That was just flat out. I was good in school all through, elementary, middle, high school. I was a good student, pretty much a straight A student. And so I got to college and realized it's a completely different ball game. And so that was probably the first thing that knocked me upside my head. I failed my first class and I'm like, oh, what's this? And I got a C, but C- is failing. So, and that was the first kind of piece of adversity I would say I hit. And then once it got to the point where I dropped out, it just was okay, I have to go be an adult.
Yeah,
it's now what do I do?
Yeah.
I got to get a job, which I had a job, but I still was in school. But now I have to really take care of myself, support myself. So now I'm finding other things that I'm trying to be interested in. And it's a challenge because you don't really know. As kids, everything is planned for us. And as we go and get into adulthood, you got to plan for yourself.
Absolutely. Well, that's another thing I want to touch on too before you continue. Just how you said your parents will plan everything out for you. And I know it's a lot of times, even people I've met in college now, they're in college doing something that their parents sent them to college to do.
Yeah.
So they don't even want to do the career that they're spending all their time, hard work, hard sweat, tears, stress over it and you don't even want to do it.
It's crazy.
Like, there's no way. There's no way. Like, college is not easy. And even coming from like two people who did really well in school, like college is not easy.
It's not.
So there's no way I'm about to go spend all this time, all this money for something I don't want to do long term.
Just because my parents say I should go do it. Yeah, don't do that first and foremost,
so
because you're going to hit a lot of roadblocks.
You need to figure out what you want to do for you, because that's the only way that it's going to work.
Because then later down the road, when they realize like this is not what I want to do,
then you don't have nothing to fall back on.
You got nothing to fall back on. And so I'm appreciative that I hit that at 20, and I was just like, okay, I have a surplus amount of time. Even if you hit that at like late 20s, you still have a lot of time to figure out what you want to do. But at 20, I realized like, okay, I have to find something new. And I ended up finding carpentry, which I liked. And then I hit a roadblock in that as well. And it's like, okay, what else do I do now? And so it's about just figuring out how to navigate through those situations and stuff. But have you experienced any situation like that yourself?
I have. At my school, like with our nursing program, I'm in the nursing program now, but beforehand I had applied 3 different times before I got accepted over a span of 2 years, I think.
Yeah, I had to force her to apply the 3rd time.
And it's crazy because like, honestly, if like one of my advisors I'm pretty close with, like she went to high school with my mom and stuff, so she kind of always like looked out and tried to like help me out and stuff as far as like getting into the program. And I had switched my major. Like, I was almost done. How many semesters did I have left? 2?
2? You were about to be done.
Like 2 semesters left.
You'd have been done last year.
Yeah, I was supposed to be done this past April. Last spring. So this was in the spring before that. So what was that, 2021?
That was 2022.
2022. Spring of 2022. So she ended up emailing me and was just like, hey, like, I don't know if you're still interested, but applications just opened up. Like, if you still want to give it a shot, go ahead and try. And I was like, I'm about to graduate college. Like, I was ready to be done. And I was like, I don't think I'm going to do it. Like, it took me a minute to like really, really out. And I had to make the decision. Once I ended up like applying, I just chose to apply. I'm like, we'll just see what happened. Like, I really didn't think I was going to get it. I'm like, like, I already didn't get it 2 times. Like, what's the third?
Third time?
Let's do it just to see. And then I ended up getting the email like 2 days before we went on vacation, like in the middle of the summer, or like the end of like the semester, start of summer. And I had like a week to figure out like yes or no. And I wasn't going to take it, y'all. Like, I really was not. And him and my dad kind of were just like talking to me about it, and just like, just like do it and it'll be fine. I'm like, I'm ready to be done. Like,
been in school this long, I'm ready to be done.
I've done my 4 years. I want to be done. And so I ended up accepting, of course. And now I'm in the program and I actually like really enjoy it and stuff. But like, just thinking about like how long it took me to get here and like what I went through to like even get accepted into the program, and then even just stuff I faced like being in the program now. It's just like, and
I think that goes into just navigating the situations. Like in your particular situation, you didn't want to do it, but initially that was the end goal. And so when you first got that denial and the second denial,
it made me not want it anymore.
Yeah, it made you not want it. And so now your mind just shifted somewhere else. You weren't even thinking about it, but in reality, that's still the end goal. And so now the 3rd time roll around and you get in, it's like, I understand why you would be like hesitant as to jumping on it, as opposed to just like, oh, yep, this is what I'm doing. Because once you hit those roadblocks, it discourages you to going and trying again. Well, then
like the other reason I still took it too is like, so I switched from pre-nursing to like health services and sciences, which is like more so like healthcare administration. And I was going to take that and like once I graduated, try to find a job so I could like work. But then my end goal was still to end up trying to go to nursing school. So I was going to end up like applying elsewhere anyway, which is why I ended up just accepting the application and stuff. But like, if I hadn't, who's to say I would have got accepted somewhere else? Like, I still kept that end goal in mind, even though I didn't want to take it. But like, I still tried to just follow like my gut and like my gut feeling initially. Like, I always wanted to be a nurse. I always wanted to like be a nurse in school. So yeah.
And I think with my situation, I never really, besides playing basketball, I never had no really big aspirations of doing anything. And I think I've discovered that through doing this podcast, that I really like talking to y'all in front of the camera. But like, other than that, I didn't know. So I really had no clue of where I want to go. And I kind of just had to refine certain things that I would enjoy. Right. And so I had to be in the right state of mind to search for these certain things, because sometimes when something doesn't work, you can keep trying to press for it, but it may not be the right thing for you. And so
that's discouraging too.
Yes, it gets real discouraging, because you think you're doing all the right things and it's just constantly not working out, and you don't know why. And so now you got to figure out something else that's going to work for you. Right. So I think that happened in my experiences, and I just figured I'd find something that really works for me, and navigate my way to doing that. So
yeah, I like how you brought up like the mindset thing. So I think like when life definitely like will take a toll at some point, everybody's life has like their ups and downs, like it's gonna hit the fan
eventually. It's gonna hit the fan.
So I think like it's really important to like learn how to like just analyze the situation in general. So like, this is going bad, yes, but like, one, you're not the only person who's ever done stuff. It's not just you, because I feel like that's always the thing. Like, why me? Why? Like, and they like try to victimize just themselves. And like, I'm sure this has happened. Like, the same thing that you're going through has happened to somebody else.
Absolutely.
Multiple people.
Absolutely.
And so like realizing like it's not just you. And then also just like using that time to reflect, okay, like what happened? Where did I go wrong? Why did this go wrong? And what can I do to move forward? Yeah. Along with like reflecting on like what's happened, it's important to like being able to acknowledge and accept the fact that like that did happen. Like, okay, something really crappy has happened, but like I can't go back and change it. Right. Because I feel like people often get stuck in that and like just dwell on the fact that like something bad happened to me. Right. But, like, okay, you can't accept that. Like, I mean, you can't change that. Right. So constantly like putting that on yourself is just going to weigh you down. Absolutely.
That's kind of like just keeping that victim role in a way. But when you reflect and you look back on what, happened, it gives you the information that you need to move forward. And so that reflection piece is key, because the more we reflect and we understand the whys and what happened, and it sets you up to move forward. And if you don't understand what you just went through, you can't get past it. It's like in Mario, you got to fight the boss, and you can't get past the boss or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So, or not Mario, Sonic or whatever, Sonic, I'm sure Sonic, when you fighting the boss and you can't get past it, you're gonna keep meeting that level every time. And so you got to understand that level and understand when to break through from that level, or what to do to break through from that level.
So I know, like, based on your personal experience, like, when you say focus on the next steps, like, let's bring it back to, like, when you were no longer in school and you were trying to figure out, like, what to do next. Like, what's some advice that you would give on, like, okay, this didn't work for me, now I need to figure out something else?
Some advice that I would give would be, go back and really think about what you wanted as maybe when you were a child. Because like you said before, in school, going to school, a lot of times we're not going for what we truly want to go for. We're not choosing a career field that we really want. So they always say tap into that inner child. And so I would say, look there first. Look at what you want to do, no matter what it is, and no matter what anybody says, go for that. But other than that, like, certain ways that I would say, just, you got to go out and experience things. It's trial and error. you know, I was working at Sam's Club. I knew I wasn't going to be there long, but I was working at Sam's Club, which was cool, but I knew I was bigger than that.
Right.
And so that's one thing, you got to know that there's something bigger in store for you down the road. And so I was working Sam's Club. I did a little carpentry stuff, which I was always a hands-on type of person, hands-on learner. I'm a worker, so I like to work. I'll always put in the work no matter what it is. And so carpentry gave me that. And so I'm like, okay, I'm actually building stuff. I'm knowing how to do certain things. This is cool to me. And so, I was Carpenter K, you know what I'm saying? And so, and Carpenter with a K, you know, Carpenter, you know, I had to style it up a little bit, you know what I'm saying? But with that, I ended up getting in the Carpenters Union. And so finding my way through there, navigating, and I hit a roadblock. And I realized they weren't teaching me what was advertised, that what I wanted to learn. And if I went to go learn that, I would take a huge pay cut, and I had bills and stuff, so I couldn't afford to do that. So you got to be cautious and conscious of the things that you know, pick up along the road, because I picked up bills, I got car notes, I got rent, I got, you know, insurance. So now I have to maintain all of that and look for what I want. So doing that, I found a passion in it, but once I couldn't get what I wanted, I ended up eventually leaving again because I felt I was wasting my time. So for me, I would say just know when to pivot and let go of things. Like if you're not getting what you need out of something, you know, you have to go find something else. Take that next step. And I know it's hard to give up on stuff. I don't necessarily like giving up on things. I feel like some things I quit, and I don't like being labeled as a quitter. So I would say just find that one thing that you truly want to do. You know, it's going to be through trial and error. You're going to go through periods of where you feel like this might be the one and it might not be the thing, or you feel like this thing might work out and it might not, but you're gonna deal with that throughout your whole life. Every step of the way, you're gonna have things that you think is what's gonna work, and in reality, it might not be the thing. So just focus on figuring out what's best for you in order to get to where you want to be. That would be my advice.
I was gonna bring up the idea too, like just the idea that like God's plan for you may be a little different than what you think, what you plan for yourself. So I think it's important to, like, I know you said like knowing when to pivot, but also like I think when you're trying to like navigate life and like career wise or things like that, like you have to play on your own strengths as well. Like, you know, if I know I'm not good at something, I'm not going to go try to find a job in that area. Like I'm going to try to find a job that's like focused on like those top strengths that I know I have, because that would be where I will perform best. That would be probably where I feel most comfortable, where I'd be willing to give more of myself, just willing to show up a little bit better too. So I think that's also very important. Just understanding your own strengths, like as you grow into adulthood, is very, very important. Yeah.
Growing like early 20s, I know they teach us I said this before, they teach us that it's okay to not know what to do and stuff. And I think
at a sense it is, but at a certain point it's like
you need to understand. I think it's vital and important to understand your strengths, weaknesses, the things that you like, dislike, and areas of interest that you can go in, because then when these situations happen, then you would understand how to navigate them. You know, you have things that you could fall back on. And so knowing your strengths, I always operate and do the things that you have strengths in, for sure. Now, understand your weaknesses and build upon them, but execute on your strengths. Find things that you are strong in, that you can, you know, go dominate and do those things. So I think that's key to be focused.
Take that strengths test. I took one the other day, y'all. Mine was pretty accurate. I want to go finish the rest, but like the top 5 strengths thing, definitely go do that if you haven't. Yeah,
but be honest with yourselves though.
Yes.
That's the thing.
Yes.
When we do like surveys and stuff like that, we think sometimes we think more about ourselves than what we actually are, but what we actually are capable of. We think we can do a little more, or we have I think I'm good in that area, but in actuality, you might be kind of average in that area, which is not a problem. You just got to build upon those things. But be honest with yourself, be truthful with yourself. That's the only way you can get to those next steps and get to the end goal. Another thing is we have to understand the roadblocks that we meet. So it's important to, when you meet them, you understand them so you can get, keep going.
Clarification, like what to do next. Definitely. I do. Like, there's a quote I found, and it said, like, understand that, like, a roadblock is not a dead end, but just a detour of your journey. I think that's very important, too, because oftentimes, like, you just get in that, like, sense of being stuck, and you don't know where to go, what to do next, and you're just there. And you just spend time, like, again, dwelling in that, like, downfall. So I think it's just important to, like, understand that that's just a detour. You need to, like, be able to reset, readjust, and refocus, like, as many times as you need to get where you need to be. That
kind of plays into, though, what you spoke on about if what your plan is might not be what God's plan is for you. So you have to know that. Well, it's hard to just know that, but understand that what you may think is what you need to be doing is not what he thinks. So those roadblocks, it might be him trying to get you to understand that, hey, you have to take a different way. You can't go straight through. You got to go around. You got to take the scenic route. You can't just go straight through the city. So, but yeah, you definitely have to reset and readjust and reassess the situation so you can continue to go forward. And that just kind of goes into knowing when to pivot through situations. So do you feel like, just based on the experience that you shared, and I know like other experiences that you went through in general, like, do you have anything that you wish you would have done differently, or do you feel like the journey that you went on, like, got you to where you are today? I've always said I don't really have any regrets.
Well, not like a regret, but like, I don't know. Like
just certain things that I would have done differently, just like... Yeah,
like knowing what you know now.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I definitely would go to school with a completely different mindset, like, than what I did. Not even just different major, but like, I think the mindset I went in with was just not prepared for college. I wasn't prepared to be a college student. So that's one thing that I would tweak. But mainly, I would just go a lot harder than what I did and understand that I'm going to experience roadblocks. Things are going to happen. You have to be okay with it. You have to accept it because you can't change it. And just keep pushing. Keep going forward.
So I like how you said that too. So I feel like mine is a little different. I feel like, honestly, I feel like now is the perfect time for me to like be in the program because I'm like a little more mature. Like, I think I understand like the place that I hold in the program now. Like, I have the privilege to be there. Like, I feel like if I did it straight into college, I probably would have failed out. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I just feel like I didn't have the mindset to take on that responsibility back then. So I definitely feel like the timing was right now. So how you said like about working harder, like, I feel like if I had that motivation, like, I had motivation, but like, I definitely think it's important to like have motivation younger
for sure,
because then like when you hit that roadblock, it would, like, I feel like it's oftentimes like in high school for me, I was like, oh, my life is going to be like, me and my parents always talked about like what life would look like for me and my sisters. And so like I knew like going into college, like I knew exactly like what I was going to do at every like point in my life for sure. So then when that happened, like, I called my dad crying. I was like, I don't know what to do. Like, I had never been at a point like that. Like, everything that I had planned to do that far had happened. Like, every single thing that we aligned for myself had happened. So I think if you have like that certain motivation younger, that like that block in the road wouldn't affect as much as it does so many young people now.
Absolutely. And I think understand that these things happen to everybody. Everybody at some point is going to hit a roadblock. You may hit it early, you may hit it later, but understand... Some people
may be worse than others.
Yeah, some may be worse than others as well. But understand that it's not the end of the world.
Right.
Life's going to keep moving, and you have to choose to keep moving with it.
You gotta go through something to grow.
You gotta go through something to grow through something. I don't know if that's how I said it, but you just came up with something, big dog.
I think that's the right thing. You have to go through it to grow through it.
I ain't never heard that, but I heard
I think that's the thing.
That's a Tory J quote straight from Radiant Thoughts. Anybody else try to take that, they cap it. They cap it. But yeah, you gotta go through something to grow through something. So if you don't keep moving with life, as life keeps moving, you're going to get left behind. And that's when it becomes a greater problem, because as long as you sit and soak in whatever happened and just dwell on it so much and you can't get over it, life's going to pass you by, opportunities will pass you by.
You're
going to have regrets. And what the quote say, the price of regret is more expensive than
the cost
of success. So you got to make a choice.
Yeah.
Keep moving or sit and let everything move past you.
Yeah.
So it's up to you. So even with that though, I found this quote that reads, "Disappointment is an inevitable part of life. When you face it, take it as a learning opportunity and use it as fuel." So you got to be fuel to the fire.
Absolutely.
To keep going, because it's gonna happen. It's inevitable.
So I want to ask another question that I know is like a little controversial now. More so, especially with like social media and stuff, and like the amount of success that social media and like other outlets can bring. Do you feel like college is important? Important as like we all should go to college? Yeah. I think college is important for specific career points. Yeah. So I wouldn't tell anybody to go or not to go to college. I think it is important for what you are going to learn. You can network in college. You meet certain people that do things that you wouldn't even think of. There's a lot of people that may be way smarter than you that you can learn from. Is a lot of people that you can there's a community. So, and that's one thing that I appreciated from college, because I got so many friends that I probably would have never known. Right. And I got a community of people that do certain things that's great. But as far as going and learning, it's up to whatever I believe you are going for. Right. So I don't think it's for everybody. There's a saying that college is for everybody. Yeah. I strongly disagree with that, because some people don't learn the way college teaches. Right. So I agree and disagree with college being for everybody. But with the era that we in, people are learning on YouTube and becoming way more successful than people that go to college and go into debt and all that stuff. So it's a fine line, but that comes with knowing what you want. Yeah. So do you feel like it's important? Yes and no. I feel like, of course, it's like necessary for like certain careers and stuff, but I definitely think that like experiencing, like I've been seeing people say like everybody should experience at least 1 year of college. I do feel like experiencing the college life, not necessarily like the school aspect of it, but just life in college in general will help like develop some sort of like independence that I don't think you'll ever have like if you don't go to college. Like, not saying that people who like aren't successful or like are successful through like social media and stuff, they make money and like they learn to be independent, but you don't learn it in the sense of like you go straight from like living at your mama's house to making a whole bunch of money. You think life is sweet. Nah. And it's not. Like, I don't think if I didn't go to college, I don't think I would have had like, I wouldn't have never faced like any of the hardships that I have. I definitely don't think I would have like grown as much as I have as a person. Right. So I don't know. I feel like it's kind of like, I don't know. There's a lot of, it's a lot of experiences that you can get going to college, because once I left, like at school, at home, never had to worry about what I was going to eat. Right. Never had to worry about none of that. I didn't deal with those. Going to college outside of your hometown. Yeah, for sure. Too, because like, if I would have stayed in Saginaw, I ain't had nothing to eat. I can go to mama's house. I can go to mama's house and get some food tonight. I don't know. It's just a little different. Yeah, being away from home and understanding like, okay, I have to be responsible. You have no choice but to figure it out. Like, when the calf is closed, what am I going to eat? Right. And shout out to my boy Brian, man. We used to come together, scrape some change and go DoorDash some, or we used to put something together like, hey, bro, we got to go get some food. And so I think experiencing that stuff, like being a broke college student, as they say, is one of the best experiences that you can have, because you learn and you grow through that, especially as young adults. So I'm 18 going to live on my own, you know, with a bunch of other 18, 20, 19 year olds, and we don't know what we doing. Right. We just out here. I think too, like, also I've learned to be more, I'm trying to think of the word I'm trying to say. I learned more stuff in like professional aspect as well as being in college. So like both of my parents went to college, but neither one of them like actually graduated. So like my sister, she went to college, ended up getting her master's and stuff. So like I had that aspect to like have somebody to look up to or like help me. But like my parents didn't really like go finish college in order to be able to like help me as far as like, you know, like certain stuff, how to deal with like certain professors or just like how to navigate like career and like school stuff. Like I didn't have that. So I think too, like that helped me as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, it teaches you things, certain things that you can't learn in the real world. And that, I think, like you said, you wouldn't have faced a lot of certain hardships that you did if you didn't go to college. I think is key because when you're away from home and you experience those roadblocks early and you're there alone and you have no choice but to figure it out. I think like when I failed a test and I'm like, what do I do? Yeah. And so like I have to figure that out here because I got class an hour from now. You fail a class, you got to go get over that butt whooping and go to class again. So you have to, it's really important to understand the roadblocks and know how to go around them for sure, for sure.
I don't know if I would have the level of discipline either. I will say, like I said, like somebody who going straight from like high school, they already making money on like YouTube or something. And they like, you learn it, but like I feel like in a way, when you lose it, it's gonna be harder to get it back, right? Because like, you never hit that bottom, and you were up so high. That's what I don't know. I feel like I wouldn't have the level of discipline that I have now. Yeah, we were forced to do. Because I don't know my mama behind my back saying like, "Oh, did you do your homework? Did you do this? Did you fold your clothes? Did you wash your clothes? Did you cook dinner? Did you clean the dishes?" Like I didn't have, you know what I'm saying? Like
I was in the rec. That. I would skip class to go to the rec. That was very undisciplined. Don't be like that. We had to get it in. Yeah, don't don't do what I did. I told you I went into college with the wrong mindset.
Let me tell y'all, he moved into his dorm. Him and Brian, yeah, you're a part of this as well.
Brian, come get on the episode.
I went to Oakland, y'all. At what time did I get there? I got there at like midnight. This was like the day before the first day of school. Y'all, it was midnight. Their room was still like bags everywhere. Like nothing was unpacked. Guess where they went? To the gym.
Ball is life.
And you had stuff everywhere, like bed, no sheets, no clothes hung up, like everything was still literally in suitcases.
Y'all know them OU runs, the freshman in the beginning of sophomore year, elite. You had to be there.
Don't be like that.
You just had to be ridiculous. There. You just had to be there. But yeah, if going back to just understanding and having that discipline though, you know, it's important because if you have no discipline or if you don't go through situations that will force you to be disciplined, hey, when it's time to be disciplined, you can't just turn it on. Yeah. So that's why those roadblocks are important because they are learning lessons. You know, you got to appreciate them. It's a blessing. Shout out to Jay-Z. A loss ain't a loss, it's a lesson. Appreciate the pain, it's a blessing. You know what I'm saying? So, but all in all, though, I would say the main key out of this, the main takeaway for me is to know when to pivot. Understand when something isn't going right. You can't keep beating a dead horse, as they say. You have to know when to take another route, when it's time to take a step back and look at the bigger picture, when it's time to go left instead of right. You know, so that would be my main takeaway for anybody watching this video for sure.
Yeah, I think mine would be, I mean, it kind of ties into it. It all ties into each other, I think. But I think just being able to like you said, take that step back and like analyze the situation. Like realizing like, okay, where did I go wrong so that I won't do that again? Like definitely learning from where you are in order to be able to move forward is important.
Yeah, so. You have to learn from your mistakes and your, any situation that you are in order to grow past it. You know, when
say everything in life is either a lesson or a blessing.
You know, and I was watching the video before they, you know, when people think they get, you know, dirt piled on them, when stuff happens, there's a lot of, you know, look at it as you're being planted, not as you're being buried. You know, you're being planted to sprout out different things. Everybody go through darkness. Whether you take that darkness as you being, dead, or you take it, all right, I'm being planted. How do I fertilize myself to become something greater?
Right.
So
I like that.
Learn how to that's a KP quote right there. Fertilize yourself to become something greater, man.
So all in all, just from this video, I do think it's just important to understand that like stuff happens in life. Like things are always going to go wrong at some point in every one of our lives. But it's very important to just learn how to overcome it and just focus on the end goal. Like make sure you keep that in mind and don't let it take you down for sure.
Yeah, don't let it kill you. Because what don't kill you make you stronger.
What doesn't kill you make you stronger. Still no? Okay.
You could have went the Kanye route and you went that route. Thank you. You know what I mean? Make me stronger. I need you to hurry up now. Because I can't wait much longer. Yeah, there you go. That's better.
Whatever.
She had it was a perfect setup. Alley hoop, between the legs, slam. And you went to, you blew the layup. You tricked a wide open layup. Yeah, whatever. But as 20-year-olds, young adults out here in this world, it's hard for us to navigate it.
And we're all figuring it out.
One step at a time. So it's important that we have a community, and that's why we doing this. We giving game back to young adults as we going through it to help y'all transition into the real world, as we transition into the real world. So we here to help each other, bounce ideas off each other. Comment down below some things that you are doing that helps you when you reach roadblocks. When things don't go as planned for you, what do you rely on? It's different for everybody.
If you have any like personal experiences that you want to share, feel free to share them in the comments or reach out to us. I'm more than happy to chat about it and stuff. So
for sure, because we all dealing with the same issues, whether we know it or not. We pretty much dealing with the same issues.
Absolutely.
So but I appreciate y'all for tapping in. This has been another great episode of Radiant Thoughts. I feel like we gave y'all some game and some good things that y'all can take away. So go apply this to y'all lives right now. Don't wait for tomorrow.
Right now.
Apply it right now. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, Radiant Thoughts, baby, we out.